The movie Caddo Lake opens up with Paris and his mother drowning. He tries to free her, but because he needs to come up for air, he doesn't have a choice but to leave her behind. Sometime after that, Paris still thinks about her even when he's at work. His father, Ben, doesn't like the dam that is being built because he thinks it's messing up the lake. However, Paris can care less. Ellie spends some time with her stepsister, 8-year-old Anna. Anna tries to convince Ellie to come home, saying that her mother is not mad at her anymore. However, Ellie says she's staying at her friend's house because Claire's is closer to her school. Anna also mentions that a classmate told her she saw wolves in the area, but their teacher thought it was impossible because wolves no longer live there. Ellie plans to leave after dropping Anna off at her house, but she hears the girl screaming, so she runs to check on her. She finds a crocodile with half of its body cleanly cut off by something. She drags it away from the kids, then throws it into the lake. Paris decides to visit Dr. Mitchell to talk about his mother's condition. He still thinks that there was a misdiagnosis because his mother didn't have any seizures for 6 years before the accident. When he returns home, he's surprised to find C waiting. She just wants to see him before she leaves for Houston the next day, and Paris shows the foundation of the house he was making for her. Ellie scolds Anna for being dirty and messy, and she even helps her pull out a front tooth. Even though she doesn't plan on staying, she joins the family for dinner. Her stepfather, Pastor Daniel, says a prayer before they start eating. Afterward, Ellie asks for her mother's signature and her father's death certificate for school purposes. Celeste insists that she and Daniel can sign it because they raised Ellie. However, Ellie doesn't consider Daniel family and says she's carrying his father's surname, but Celeste refuses to give in. Paris and C had some fun on the bed before they had a heartfelt conversation. Paris apologizes for pushing C away when she wanted to support him after his mom's accident. She assures him that there's no need to apologize and that he should stop blaming himself for his mother's death. Anna brags about the necklace she got from Celeste. Ellie has locked the door because she's looking for the documents she needs, and she knows her mother will be furious if she finds out. So when Celeste catches Ellie in the act, she tells her to leave. Anna wants to go with her, but Celeste and Daniel won't let her. On her way back, Ellie gets stuck in the shallow part of the lake. She hears some explosions, and Paris hears it too. Looking around, Ellie is shocked to see wolves in the area. Ellie is staying at Claire's house, but even Claire wants to know how long before Ellie goes home. The next day, Ellie receives a frantic phone call. Her mother says that Anna's missing, and she must have taken the boat to follow Ellie when she left the night before. So Ellie gets up quickly and takes the boat back to the Bennetts. Her mother is panicking, asking if Anna went with her to Claire's. Ellie explains that she left alone, and Daniel saw her say goodbye to Anna. The pastor needs to take the skiff Ellie used because Anna took the other one, but it's not there where Ellie said she docked it. He gets angry, thinking that Ellie is not taking the situation seriously. Even Ellie is dumbfounded because she's sure that she left the boat where it should be. At work, while Paris is following a pipeline, he hears some strange sounds and his hands start to shake. When he checks under the boat to remove the trash, he finds a necklace. When the sheriff shows up, he wants to discuss Celeste's history with Child Protective Services. However, Daniel thinks it's unnecessary because the cases were with Ellie, and it was a long time ago. Paris goes home and checks his mother's things. He sees that her necklace is in the box, and the other one probably belongs to someone else. He lies to Ben, saying that he was looking for his mother's medical records. The whole town is looking for Anna, and even Ellie has joined the search. But it's difficult because the water is too shallow, and their boats are getting stuck. Paris takes C to where he heard the sounds and where he found the necklace. But C doesn't know if she should believe him. The authorities finally find Anna's boat, and everyone's upset that the girl is still missing. Ellie asks her mother if she hit Anna, and Celeste said she never did. Then Celeste gets so angry and she tells Ellie to get out of the car and just walk home. Meanwhile, Paris checks his father's notes on his mother's seizures and compares it to the records of the lake's water level. Ellie is disappointed because the rescuers only searched the water and not the land. She thinks Ellie could be there, but the sheriff says they need more water to get the boats moving. Paris is convinced that something is wrong with the lake, the timeline, and his mother. He keeps checking the records of the drought, and C worries that he's overthinking again. She tells him that she didn't go to Houston because she wants to stay with Paris. However, Paris says he can't promise to stay with C if she thinks he's crazy. Celeste reveals to Ellie that her father left them and that he didn't go missing. She says she met the other women when Ellie was still a baby, and they fought. Ellie walks out of the house and decides she's going to look for Anna herself. Ben is worried that Paris didn't go to work, but Paris insists that everything is okay. It's already dark, and Ellie is still at the lake. She runs away from the rescuers and ends up going deeper into the land area, entering some kind of portal. When she reaches the other side, it's already morning. Ellie goes back to the Bennetts and she's surprised that her mother tells her Anna's missing. She looks out the window and finds her other self approaching in a boat. She realizes that she's in a different time. So she takes the keys from the hook, waits for the right timing, then takes the boat back to the lake to look for Anna. Paris and Ellie cross the bridge and head on the land area on different timelines. They continue walking on land, unaware that they are passing through different portals of time. Ellie finds Anna trying to get her boat to work, and she's overjoyed that her sister's alive. Anna cries, saying she was following Ellie to Claire's house. She's mad at Ellie for arguing with Celeste and throwing the plates at her. Ellie is confused because that confrontation happened a month ago, so she checks Anna's mouth to see if she's missing her front tooth. She's not. Meanwhile, Paris finds Anna lying on the ground with a branch stuck on her back. He removes it and covers the wound with his jacket to stop the bleeding. When Ellie brings Anna back home, she sees the broken plates on the floor. Her mother gets upset when she sees her. She calls Daniel, telling him that Ellie is back to make another scene. The pastor confronts Ellie, telling her that she shouldn't talk to her mother that way, and if she does it again next time, he won't let it pass. Daniel warns her that she can't just disrespect her mother and then return like nothing happened. Paris carries Anna to safety, and he's surprised to see that the dam is still being built. He asks a few men for help, but they start suspecting that he did something bad to the girl. Paris learns that the year is 1952 and that he went back in time. Ellie and Paris go back to Found Herd Creek. Ellie now knows about the time portals, so she ties a rope to a tree and continues to walk through the portals as she uses the rope as a guide. Paris sees the rope and follows it. He sees Anna's boat, the one that Ellie used, and he gets on it and takes the lake. The rescuers stop him, asking about the boat. Paris panics and tries to escape, and he hurts himself while trying to get away. Meanwhile, Ellie sees that she's in the year 2005. She goes to the supermarket where she and Ellie used to go to just to check if she can find her there. It's a Saturday, so she just leaves the building and tries her luck outside. She sees Anna's necklace dangling inside a car, so she grabs it. Paris is in the hospital and can't offer an explanation to cops. C arrives and attacks Ellie when she sees her stealing the necklace. C cries and says the necklace belongs to Anna Lang, the mother of Paris Lang, her missing boyfriend. She stops her baby from crying, and Ellie is surprised to hear her call the baby Ellie. It starts to make sense to her, and she realizes that she's talking to her mother, and the baby is her years ago. C suspects that she's Paris' new girlfriend, and she asks her to tell Paris to come home because they now have a baby. The sheriff doesn't want to let Paris go, but he manages to escape even with handcuffs. Ellie walks away and heads to a computer shop. She checks for Anna Lang's information and finds out that she died age 55. After figuring out the timeline, she checks what Anna Lang looked like when she was 8. Ellie is shocked to see that it's her sister, Anna Bennett. Paris hears from the news that the girl he rescued is Anna Bennett, and she had been missing. He recognizes the necklace Anna is wearing and finally realizes the truth. Ellie continues checking to see if Anna kept going to school. She's overjoyed to find out that Anna finished her studies, became a teacher, and got married. Ellie cries, seeing that Anna became Paris's mother and lived a happy life. So Anna was Ellie's sister who traveled back in time, became Paris's mom, but also Anna was Celeste's stepchild, making it almost like an incestuous cycle. This time loop is giving me a headache. Paris overhears the nurses talking about his father, so he rushes to his room. He finds Ben in a very bad state, just a few breaths away from death. Paris shares that he finally found his mother and that he saved her. Unable to receive any response, Paris promises that he will return home before the portal closes. He hasn't said goodbye yet when the authorities barge into the room. Paris escapes through the window, run under heavy rain before stopping a car in its tracks. Daniel gets out of the car, and C recognizes the familiar face. She knows it's Paris, but she can't do anything but watch as he drives away. Paris looks back but can't see C's face clearly. Meanwhile, Ellie takes some of Anna's pictures and then heads back to the lake. She knows she's running out of time, so she immediately traces the rope to lead her back to 2022. She senses that someone used the rope as well, so she's careful not to break it. The authorities show up at the bridge, blocking Paris' way. He tries to turn back, but more police cars arrive to stop him from leaving. He gets out of the car and tries to explain that he only wants to go home to his family, but the officers are deaf to his pleas. Suddenly, Paris jumps into the water despite being warned not to. He tries to swim his way back to where he came from, but the dam collapses and the strong currents keep him underwater. Ellie reaches the other side of the land, still holding the rope when she notices the water covering the soil. Then just like that, the rope breaks and the portals close. Ellie is back in 2022, and she hears Daniel calling her and Anna's names. She calls out to him, asking for help. When she finally makes it to his boat, she tells Daniel that they have always been family and that Anna connects them all. Daniel reveals that a strange man possibly responsible for Anna's disappearance stole their car. He adds that C thought the man looked like Ellie's father, Paris Lang. When Ellie gets home, she finds C watching the news about Paris's death. The police found him dead after drowning during his escape. Ellie hands C Anna's photos, explaining that she's fine and that she found her. Then she says that Paris never really left them, at least he didn't mean to. She says that Paris was trying to get back home to them when he died. Ellie hugs her mother and they both cry after learning the truth that Paris never abandoned them. What did you guys think of this one? It was very unexpected to have a time-traveling twist. I was expecting there to be a kidnapper or killer of sorts, so this was a nice change of pace.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.